She was just a simple woman, living a quiet life, never asking for much. But one day, everything changed in the most unexpected and painful way. Imagine being looked down on, judged, and shamed by your own family. The people who are supposed to love and support you no matter what. That's exactly what happened to her. They couldn't understand her choices or see her worth. The whispers, the cold shoulders, the harsh words, it all felt like a heavy weight on her heart. But just when it seemed like there was no hope, when she felt completely alone, a surprising figure stepped into her life, someone who turned everything upside down. Her billionaire boyfriend, a man so different from her simple world, arrived when she needed him the most. He wasn't just wealthy, he was kind, patient, and saw her for who she truly was, beyond the surface. His presence shocked her family and made them question everything they thought they knew. But this isn't just a story about money or status. It's about judgment, acceptance, and the unexpected ways love can change lives. You won't believe what happened the moment he walked through the door, how one person's arrival can shift the balance of power and change the way people see each other. Was this the beginning of a new chapter for her, or would the tensions and doubts from her family tear everything apart? Stay with me, because the story is just getting started, and you want to see how this simple woman's life unfolds when the world suddenly watches her with new eyes. Her name was Emily. She grew up in a small town where everyone knew each other's business, and expectations were set in stone. Her family had always dreamed of a different life for her, one filled with prestige, wealth, and connections. But Emily was never interested in any of that. She loved the simple things: her cozy little apartment, her work at the local bookstore, and the few close friends who truly understood her. Yet, to her family, this simplicity was a sign of failure. They called her lazy, unambitious, even a disappointment. Every family gathering became a test of patience, filled with sharp looks and biting remarks. What made things worse was the secret Emily kept. She was dating someone her family would never approve of. A man who came from a completely different world, one of luxury and influence. But unlike what her family assumed, he wasn't interested in flashy displays or status. He cared about her for who she was, not where she came from or what she owned. Still, Emily kept this relationship hidden, fearing the judgment and the shame it would bring. Then, on a chilly evening, everything came to a head. Her family confronted her, their voices filled with disappointment and anger. They demanded answers, pushing her into a corner. That's when he arrived, calm, confident, and unshaken by the tension in the room. The billionaire boyfriend, whose reputation alone could silence the harshest critics, walked in quietly but with a presence that filled the space. His eyes met hers with warmth and reassurance, but the question lingered in the air. Would his arrival be enough to change her family's mind, or would it only deepen the divide? The answer wasn't clear, and the night was far from over. The room fell silent as he stood there, an unexpected force in the middle of years of unspoken resentment. Her family's eyes darted between him and Emily, searching for any sign of weakness, any crack that would prove their suspicions right. But he didn't react the way they expected. Instead of arrogance or defensiveness, there was something calm and steady in his gaze, as if he knew exactly what was happening, but refused to be drawn into the drama. Emily's mother, whose disapproval had always been the loudest, broke the silence. "Who do you think you are, coming here and interfering in our family?" she demanded, her voice trembling with a mix of anger and disbelief. The tension in the room thickened, each word like a spark threatening to ignite long-held grudges. Her father nodded stiffly, eyes cold and hard. "We want to know what your intentions are. Why would someone like you be with a woman like Emily?" That question hung heavy in the air, exposing the deep divide between two worlds. One built on tradition and status, the other on simple kindness and genuine connection. But Emily's boyfriend didn't back down. He spoke quietly but firmly about respect, about seeing beyond social labels, about valuing people for their hearts, not their bank accounts. It wasn't just a defense, it was a challenge to everything her family believed. Meanwhile, Emily watched the exchange with a mix of fear and hope. She knew her family's judgments weren't easy to change. Old wounds and pride ran deep. And yet, here was someone willing to stand up for her, to fight the invisible battle she had carried alone for so long. But as the night stretched on, a new question began to rise. Would this confrontation bring healing, or only make the rift wider? The answers were still buried in silence, waiting to be uncovered. The tension in the room was almost unbearable. Every word spoken felt like a step closer to something breaking, whether it was walls, hearts, or years of silence. Emily's family members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, unsure whether to challenge him further or retreat into their own stubborn pride. Her mother's eyes flashed with a mixture of hurt and disbelief, unable to accept that this man, this stranger from a world so different from theirs, could hold such calm strength. Her father's jaw tightened, his silence louder than any argument. Emily herself felt trapped between two worlds. She wanted to defend her boyfriend, to make her family see the truth beyond the judgments and assumptions. But the fear of rejection, of being cast aside once again, weighed heavily on her. The room seemed smaller now, the air thicker, as if every breath carried the weight of years of misunderstanding. Then, as if the silence wasn't enough, a harsh voice cut through the room. Her older brother, who had been quiet until now, spoke with sharp bitterness. "You think just because he has money, he can fix what you've broken. You're blind if you believe this will change anything." His words hit like a punch, reminding everyone that pride and old wounds ran deep. Her boyfriend's calm didn't falter. He looked directly at her brother and said something that made everyone freeze, a statement that challenged the family's core beliefs and pushed the evening toward a tipping point. Emily's heart raced. The moment felt fragile, like the calm before a storm. Would this be the night everything changed, or would it only confirm the walls between them? The question hung in the air, unanswered, as the room held its breath. Just when it seemed like the tension couldn't grow any thicker, the unexpected happened. Emily's boyfriend reached into his pocket and pulled out something that made everyone gasp, an old, worn envelope. The room fell into a stunned silence. Her mother's eyes widened, her grip tightening on the armrest. Her father leaned forward, suddenly alert. The older brother's bitter expression flickered with confusion. "This," he said quietly, holding up the envelope, "is something I've been saving for the right moment." His voice was calm, but there was an edge of something deeper, a secret long kept under lock and key. Inside are letters from Emily's grandfather, letters that show where her real family wealth came from, something your family never told you about. The words hit like a thunderclap. For years, Emily's family had judged her for being simple and without prospects, but now suddenly, a hidden past was surfacing that could rewrite everything. Emily's heart pounded. She hadn't expected this. Could this be the proof that might finally earn her family's respect, or would it just fuel more suspicion and jealousy? The room buzzed with whispered questions and nervous glances. Her boyfriend's calm demeanor shifted slightly, revealing a hint of urgency. This wasn't just about money or status, but about trust, legacy, and the truths people hide to protect themselves. Her family looked torn between disbelief and curiosity, their harsh judgments meeting an unexpected challenge they weren't prepared for. But as the envelope sat between them like a ticking time bomb, one thing was clear. The simple woman's story was far more complicated than anyone had realized. And whatever happened next could change everything. But would it bring healing, or shatter the fragile hope left in the room? The answer still hung just out of reach. As the envelope lay open on the table, the room was filled with a tense mix of anticipation and disbelief. Emily's family leaned in, scanning the faded handwriting in the letters. Words from a grandfather they barely knew, revealing a secret legacy hidden for decades. The letters spoke of sacrifices, lost fortunes, and a family history that no one had dared to mention. Suddenly, the simple woman they had shamed stood at the center of a story far greater than anyone expected. Her mother's face softened, the hardness in her eyes giving way to tears. Her father's stern expression cracked, and even her brother looked stunned, as the truth settled over them. Emily's boyfriend reached out, gently taking her hand, his quiet strength steadying her through the whirlwind of emotions. This wasn't just about money or status, it was about family, identity, and the courage to stand tall when judged unfairly. In that moment, Emily realized something powerful. The real wealth wasn't in the letters or the money, but in being seen and accepted for who she was. Her family, finally confronted with the truth, began to understand the pain their judgment had caused. The barriers they had built started to crumble, making space for something new, forgiveness and hope. But just when it seemed the storm had passed, Emily's boyfriend leaned in and whispered something that made her freeze. There was more to his story too, a secret of his own that would change everything once again. The room held its breath as she prepared to reveal it, knowing this twist would either heal the last wounds or reopen them in ways no one was ready for. The story wasn't over yet, and the next chapter promised to be just as unexpected as the last. Emily's boyfriend took a deep breath, then quietly shared the secret he had kept hidden until now. He wasn't just a billionaire by chance. He had once been part of a family torn apart by similar judgments and misunderstandings. His own past was marked by pain, rejection, and the struggle to be accepted for who he truly was, not for his wealth or status. This shared experience had drawn him to Emily in the first place, two people from different worlds, but with hearts shaped by the same kind of hurt. As he spoke, the room softened even more. Emily's family began to see not only the strength in their daughter, but the power of compassion and understanding. The judgments that had once seemed so sharp now felt like chains they were ready to break. Slowly, apologies were exchanged, tears were wiped away, and new bridges were built. The simple woman they had once shamed had shown them that true worth isn't measured by money or appearances. It's found in kindness, resilience, and love. Emily felt lighter than she had in years. Her boyfriend's presence had not only changed her family's perspective, but had also helped her find confidence in herself. The story that began with shame and silence had transformed into one of acceptance and hope. And while not every question was answered, the promise of healing was enough to fill the room. As they all sat together, the night ending in quiet smiles and tentative hugs, one thing was clear. Sometimes, it takes a stranger's courage and a simple woman's strength to remind us that family isn't just about blood. It's about seeing, respecting, and loving one another no matter what. And that was the most valuable lesson Emily's story could ever teach.